The fourth black jail was the place where I was tortured very, very badly. I was tied up to a lattice work that was in the shape of a cross. And my arms were extended completely to each side. I was seated. The cross was pushed behind a chair, and my arms were yanked incredibly hard to the side. And this one thug came up and jammed dirt into my mouth, so I was barely able to breathe. And I really thought at this point that was the end of my life, right there. I was not accepting it, but I thought that was it. I hear the guards joking about me, how I'm coughing and spitting out this dirt, and then they're talking about how, oh, it's just going to take 4 hours. He'll be here just 4 hours, and then he's finished. He'll be finished in 4 hours. I'm sure it was much longer than that, because by the time this phase of the ordeal ended, it was nighttime. It was at least 7 or 8 hours total that I was tied up to this thing. I still thought, no, I'm not going to die. I am I, and I'm not going to die. I just won't. I'm not going to let these people kill me.
So in the process, they beat you up?
Yes, very badly. They're kicking and punching me, my legs, my back, my arms. I'm resisting being dragged to this latticework cross. It's a terrifying sight. And I'm like a tree rooted to the ground. I just won't let them move me. Finally, they pick me up and drag me to this chair where they strap me into this cross. So at the end of 7 or so hours of being tied up to this thing, I'm dragged off to what turns out to be the hospital, part of this establishment where I've been tortured. This is a mental hospital, actually. And I've seen doctors and nurses go in and out of doors, passing me by, not even looking at me. It's a real hospital. And there I am being tortured in a real hospital, and doctors and nurses paying no attention to it. And people paying no attention to it, except for one really brave woman who pushed her way through the guards who were surrounding me and said, "What are you doing to this man? How can this be? Is this a country of laws, or is this a country?" This is a woman who really understood the best path for China. Well, they pushed her out of the way, and they said, "Get out of here," and several of the guards had to be used to take her away. She was very strong. So at the end of all of this, I'm taken to the so-called hospital part of this place. And after a brief interlude, I wake up with my arms tied to a hospital bed, and I'm being injected with some substance by a woman in a nurse's uniform. She starts to come back at me with a second shot, and I with every strength I can, I rip my left arm free and I cover my right arm to protect it from this shot. And another nurse comes in and says, "Wait a minute, what actually happened? I want to hear what happened." So I tell her a brief version of the story, and she says, "Oh, so you were not the aggressor?" I said, "Of course not. That's not what I do. I'm here as someone who's been beaten and tortured." And she looked really quite sympathetic, and I thought, oh my God, maybe I have someone who's going to help me here. Well, it didn't help, and the nurse starts to try to give me this second shot, so third nurse comes in and said, "Okay, well, give it to him at 4 a.m. And I'm just left there in the dark. Except, out of the corner of my eye, I see in the corner of this room, a very dark room, a little man get out of a bed and come toward me. And suddenly he ties up the arm that I had wrenched free, clucking his tongue at me and going back to his corner. So the night passes this way. The 4 a.m. shot does not materialize. But the next morning I'm forced to swallow a handful of pills. I had no idea what they were. I'm untied after, let's say, the second day. and still being forced to take pills. I have endless meetings with the staff of this hospital, like 6 or 7 or 8 doctors and nurses all inquiring about what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling and what has gone on with me and what caused all of this. But at the end of 10 days, I was finally allowed to leave. But I had no idea until the day I left that I was actually going to leave.
And all along, you know, as you're describing this, you really had no idea what instigated this.
No, nothing.
What actually was going on. No. Hence Kafka in China.
It was definitely Kafkaesque, which prompted the title, but and there were so many aspects of Kafka in this that it's kind of amazing, really. But fundamentally, we're talking about a society that operates under this penumbra of terror. And that's a very Kafkaesque kind of thing. But there it is real. There it is real, in real life. It's a society that's built on terror. China is really one giant black jail. It is one huge jail. You go, even a foreigner with a passport and a visa goes in there and may not get out. He really has only a conditional permit to get out. We know from the cases of the 2 Canadians, we know from 2 Americans who just returned to the United States, that you don't necessarily get out if you go in, and it doesn't mean that you did anything bad at all. They just have an ulterior reason for keeping you there, whether it's to swap you in a hostage-taking deal for someone that they think is kept illegally somewhere else, or it just, there's no limit to it.